Peace and love to the family. It's Sunday. Soul Food Sunday. Christ is in the building. I'll be right with you. Soul Food Sunday. Make sure the hair right. Make sure the shade's right. Make sure the thrust is right. It's going to be a beautiful video. Just vibe with me. Soul music. So good seeing each and every one of you, by the way. Soul music. Soul music. Peace, power, and prosperity to each and every one of you taking the time to watch this video. I am Minister Corbin, reporting live. I'm not going to tarry on too long. I'm going to leave some gems for you on this beautiful Sunday. Every time you see my face on this tube, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is on social media, my divine message to you watching is that you are greater. My message to you is that you are the creator. My biggest message to you that I and the Father are one. And every day you should be waking up reminding yourself of that. Because we have been taught to praise a creator outside of ourselves all these years. But here's the secret. That's no longer a secret. What you have been taught to praise is already within you, waiting for you to praise yourself. I want my people who may have a Bible on hand on this Sunday to tune in. I would like for you to turn to John in your New Testament. John 16, verse 33. Once again, this is John chapter 16, verse 33. And I'm reading from the New International Version, but whatever version you have. Once again, John 16, 33. And it says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. John 16:33. I have overcome the world is what Christ said to us, meaning the sacrifice that Christ made, being in the human flesh while having the Christ consciousness dwell within him, made the ultimate sacrifice. So now that us in this age can benefit from what Christ did. You may ask, well, what are those benefits? Well, you, because of your inheritance to God, because of your inheritance to God, because you are made in the image of God, because you are a creator created by the biggest creator that ever created, you are also a God. It may give some of you the shivers, some of you the shakes, and some of you the trembles just to even think that you have the power to control your own life. Did you hear what I said? Talk about scary hours. That's the most scariest part about it. That you're actually a creator living in real time, but you are afraid, not aware to take the responsibility of becoming a creator. Most of the people who have become successful, who has made it in this life, so to speak, all they did was take that step out of fear and go to flight, believe in themselves, perseverance, patience, persistence, faith. Once you understand that God is within you, and by living your best life, by putting no restrictions on your life, by getting rid of those negative thoughts of yourself and those around you, and only bringing great energy around you. Do you understand? Are you understanding? This is your game. You are on the seat of the director's chair. You are in the greatest council. You are a galactic being that just happened to be on a planet carrying this flesh, this skin, this vessel. But because you have the Christ power within you, that still gives you the greatest power. Am I getting through to you on this Sunday? You've been taught to praise something outside of yourself. Excuse me. You have been taught to praise something outside of yourself. But the secret that they kept from you is that the Holy Grail, this ark that you have been looking for, this philosopher's stone that you have been talking about, has always been you. I want to read something for you. Most of us grew up in church where a lot of our ancestors, our moms, our pops, our grandpops, our pop-pops, and this is something we have to take into consideration now as adults. A lot of our thinking patterns, the way we think of the world today, the way we think of people around us, has been taught and has been bred by our parents and the one who has raised us. Take some time in your busy schedule and pay close attention to those patterns that you may have gotten from your parents, from your loved ones who have raised you, and start putting them on a scale and see which ones that have profited you and which ones have declined you. Because once you start thinking outside of that, in the Bible it says, call no man the Father except the Father in heaven. And I'm paraphrasing. So at the end of the day, you have to come into grips with knowing that you are your own power when you come into this world, when you start getting the knowledge and the wisdom of who you are. Let me read something for you because this is all about the work. I want you to just think about what I just told you. Most of us from those days in church with our mom and pop-pops used to always say, I'm just a poor wretch. I'm just a dust of worms. Do you hear the words I'm coming out of my mouth? That's what they used to say. I am not worthy. Can you imagine being a royal heir to God and then sinning against God? Because when you curse yourself like that, when you say, I can't do this, I'm poor and I'm not worthy of God, you are cursing, you are sinning against the very God internally that you're supposed to be uplifting. And you're about to read about that right now. Listen closely, but I want to repeat this. I'm saying this because I come from the same grounds that you have came from. I walk the same streets that you have come from. My light that you see with me is a light for everybody because we are all one. There's no need for any type of feeling. What you see is Christ within yourself. Shine your light and become greater. But the only way you're going to make it in this world is by knowing that God is within you, not praising anything outside of yourself. Christianity as a whole, Orthodox Christianity, once again, I am an ordained metaphysical minister. I was that young kid that sat very young in them churches and listened to everything you guys said. When 2020 came, and this pandemic came, I watched a lot of Christians, a lot of theologians turn their back away from the people and put their trust in certain things and put their trust in man and left their trust and their faith away from God. Nobody talks about this. So after I came back from Egypt, there was a call for the Divine Mother. And we'll have that conversation real soon for the ones who are ready to talk about the Divine Mother. Because how can you have a father and a son without a mother? But let's just end this Sunday off with this right here. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Because it don't matter Monday through Friday. If you're just keep on running on automation and mechanical living, and you know there is something greater within you and you're not headed to that path, each day you're going to get a reminder of your failure. And you've seen that post I posted a while ago about failure and success. I'm simply saying, know your worth. I am simply saying, you are your creator. As long as you hold the poorhouse thought, you are heading toward the poorhouse. I got 5 minutes left. Listen up. As long as you hold the poorhouse thought, you are heading toward the poorhouse. A pinch, stingy thought means a pinch, stingy reply. No matter how hard one may work, if he constantly holds the poverty idea, the poorhouse thought in his mind, he is driving away the very thing he is pursuing. Now, I'm going to go back and read that. No matter how hard one may work, if he constantly holds the poverty idea, the poorhouse thought in his mind, he is driving away the very thing he is pursuing. I hope you all listen on this beautiful Sunday. The man who sows failure thoughts, poverty thoughts, can no more reap success, prosperity harvest than a farmer can get a wheat crop from sowing thistles. I'm going to repeat that again. The man who sows failure thoughts, poverty thoughts, can no more reap success, prosperity harvest, than a farmer can get a wheat crop from sowing thistles. Poverty, which is a sin against God, poverty, which is a sin against God, poverty is a mental right in your heart that a beneficial creator who planned a universe full of good things for our use and enjoyment never meant that we should starve or be miserable. Poverty is a mental right in your heart that a beneficial creator who planned a universe full of good things for our use and enjoyment never meant that we should starve or be miserable. If we are unsuccessful, unhappy, it is because our attitude toward God and life. We were never meant to be poor in the first place. Every time somebody say they're just a poor rich, you are sinning against God. I said this before. We are made in the image of God. So don't you think we are supposed, no, don't you know that you are supposed to inherit everything? God is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-seeing. He's the creator. We come from that. So saying anything about you being poor that you can't have, going against yourself, putting restraints on your own blessings, going into that store and knowing that you want it and sinning against God. And I want to read that one more time and start with poverty. Poverty is a mental right in your heart that a beneficial creator who planned a universe full of good things for our use and enjoyment never meant that we should starve or be miserable. If we are unsuccessful, unhappy, it is because of our attitude toward God and life. Most of us assume the position of beggars instead of children of an all-powerful Father. That is powerful. Most of us assume the position of beggars instead of children of an all-powerful Father, and we remain beggars to the end. If poverty is holding you down, you can conquer it by making yourself a prosperity magnet. Bring it on in. We are living in the midst of a stream of an inexhaustible supply. It is one's own fault. It is your own fault. It is one's own fault if he does not take from the stream whatever he needs. If you want to become a prosperity magnet, you must not only think prosperity, but you must also turn your back resolutely on poverty. Begin today. Don't wait for tomorrow or the next day. If you don't look prosperous, assume a prosperous appearance. Dress as far as possible like a prosperous man or woman. Walk like one, act like one, think in the terms of prosperity. A mental healer could not cure a cancer by holding in his mind a picture of the hideous disease with all its horrible appearance and symptoms. He must eliminate all this from his mind. He must see his patient whole, clean, healthy. Just as God intended him to be free from all disease, he must picture himself the ideal man and declare his divinity. 16 minutes going in, you understand my missions. You understand your mission. Step in your power. Know that you are God. Blessings.